Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Jamal Adams asking to be traded. But before we get started, I just wanted to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. You can also subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday. Call in. I'll answer your questions on the show. So just yesterday, I recorded a video, and essentially it was that Jamal Adams doesn't want to be here. He proved that right because a couple hours later, he asked to be traded. And this whole situation is just super crazy, and basically just a quick rundown of what happened yesterday. He comments on an Instagram saying maybe it's time to move on. I do the video, then it comes out that supposedly Jamal Adams asked the Jets to seek trades. The Jets didn't grant him permission to seek the trade because, again, Joe Douglas wants him to be here. They just don't want to pay him right now for a multitude of reasons. Number one, they have him under contract for 2 more years. Number two, there's a pandemic going on right now, and they don't know if there's going to be able to have fans in the stands and what the cap situation is going to be like going forward. So it's a very, very tricky situation, and all along it's made more sense to pay him after this year. Nonetheless, Jamal Adams isn't happy. He listed off 7 teams that he'd be okay with being traded to. The very strange part is he's not asking for an extension if he's traded to one of those 7 teams. To me, that just shows that he really doesn't want to be here, which, again, he's proved time and time again when he's thrown the team under the bus for the last few months. So supposedly Jamal Adams wants to be paid $20+ million a year, which is bananas. I understand that he is the best safety in football, or at least a top 3 safety in the league, and he deserves to reset the safety market. So let's take a look at what I think resetting the safety market is. If you pay Jamal Adams $17 million a year, that's 16.4% more than any other safety in football. That seems like a fair raise. You are the highest paid safety in football at that point per year by a significant margin. Now, Jamal Adams, if he gets paid $20 million, that is 38% more than any other safety in football. That's crazy. That's crazy. You can't reset the market by that much. If Pat Mahomes isn't going to reset the market by that much at his position, Jamal Adams doesn't deserve to reset the market by that much at his position. His ass is just too much. You can't do that. So what I wanted to do today was go through 3 different trade scenarios that I'd be interested in. We'll start off with the Dallas Cowboys because that seems to be his favorite team. That's where he's from. So my proposal for the Dallas Cowboys in a trade with Jamal Adams is Michael Gallup and a first round pick for obvious reasons. Gallup is a young receiver. He's not their number 1. Amari Cooper's their number 1 receiver, but he put up really good numbers last year. He had over 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns, and he's only 23 years old. He did that in 14 games, by the way. Gallup is arguably the best number 2 in football, one of the best number 2 wide receivers in football, and if you bring him in on this Jets team, you have a 23-year-old wide receiver who can grow with Sam Darnold along with Denzel Mims, and you have Perryman on the outside, Crowder in the slot. The Jets really need another wide receiver in here, and getting someone at that talent level would be huge. Now, would Dallas want to give that up? I'm not 100% sure if they would. I don't necessarily see a fit for Jamal Adams and the Cowboys because of the numerous contracts that they have to get done, starting with their quarterback, by the way. But if that's what really wants to happen, because it seems like Jamal really wants to go there, and whenever there's a trade rumor that comes up, it's always the Dallas Cowboys. So to me, if I'm making a trade with the Dallas Cowboys, I want to help out Sam Darnold. Give me Michael Gallup. You already have a number 1 wide receiver in Amari Cooper, and you are just getting some really big key piece for the defensive side of the football in Jamal Adams, and you have to give up a first-round pick. Is it a lot? Yes, but I don't want to give away Jamal Adams for nothing. So the Ravens is a team obviously on Jamal Adams' list, and they have a piece that they are potentially looking to trade that could help out the New York Jets, and that's Matt Judon. So Matt Judon and a second for Jamal Adams, to me, seems like enough to get it done. Pro Bowl edge last year, he had 9.5 sacks. He had a 70.5 Pro Football Focus grade. This is someone who could potentially be a franchise and trade kind of scenario. We saw that in the past with edge rushers who weren't going to stay with their prospective team. I think edge is definitely a position that I would look to attack if you want to trade for someone on the defensive side of the ball and a pick. To me, Judon at his age, which is like 27 years old, and a second-round pick is pretty fair value for what you're giving up in Jamal Adams. To me, if you're trading for Judon straight up, it's probably going to be a late first or an early second, so essentially getting a first and a second for Jamal Adams. Cool. I think that's really good value. The last scenario is not on Jamal Adams' trade list, but it's something that would make sense for both sides, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. And what I would want to do is trade Jamal Adams to Jacksonville for Yannick Ngakoue and a third. The Jaguars are projected to be picking in like the top 3 in next year's draft class. I don't think they're giving up a top 35 pick and Yannick Ngakoue, so instead they're going to get an early 3rd round pick and Yannick, who had 8 sacks last year and has never had less than 8 sacks in a season, and he's still young. He just turned 25 years old. He had a 72 Pro Football Focus grade. He is really someone that would help out this Jets defense a ton. You put him on the other side of Jordan Jenkins. That's really the biggest thing that the New York Jets are missing on that defensive side of the ball, is an edge presence, which both Matt Judon or Yannick Ngakoue would be able to really help out. So if the Jets are able to land one of those 3 guys in a trade, I think they'd be in good shape. But I really want to talk about the defense for a second. Let's say it's either Judon or Yannick. Again, you put them on the opposite side of Jordan Jenkins, great. And then you have Marcus Maye and Ashtyn Davis as your safety duo. I think if Ashtyn Davis could be 50, 60% the player that Jamal Adams is, the Jets defense would be absolutely fine. He's obviously an extremely athletic guy. I don't think he's going to be Jamal Adams level. Again, he's a top 3 player in the league at his position. But I think if he is like even able to be middle of the pack, and you have 2 fairly middle of the pack, to Marcus Maye maybe closer to top 10 on the outside of the top 10. But if you have 2 pretty average safeties, you're more than fine with an elite edge rusher like Yannick Ngakoue or Matt Judon. So to me, it really seems like Jamal's going to get moved. I don't think it's going to be any time necessarily soon. Again, there's no rush because the Jets have him under contract for 2 years, whether Jamal likes it or not. He can yell and scream all he wants, but the Jets have control over him, so that's the way it works. Let me know in the comments down below or on social media what your take is on all this. If you want to see my initial reaction, head on over to Instagram. I did an Instagram Live, and I saved it. It's on IGTV on my page, at Matt O'Leary NY. Did a quick reaction over there. And yeah, that's going to do it for me today. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. I'll talk to you next time.